that far into that.
Tammy will be walking in a minute.
Another distraction.
Okay, so anyway, my name is Christina Massey, if you don't know who I am. I take care of safety for the Customer Operations Centers. Your safety rep here in Hurricane is Violet Atkins, so I expect for this to be the best and most safe pod in the building, right? So,
Absolutely.
what we're going to talk about today is distraction. So, how many in the room have a cell phone? Okay, so everybody here would agree that we all have a cell phone, we all use it to keep connected to our families and email and etc. Well, unfortunately, those cell phones can present distractions in our lives that can cause things to trip us up and be unsafe. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Does this look familiar? This is a picture here of a nice little lady that is trying to multitask as she is driving down the road. Well, actually, she may be parked, or not parked, but sitting at a stop sign. She's putting on her lipstick, looking at her compact. Her eyes are clearly not on the road, and she doesn't have her hands on the wheel. So, if you see her, stay away from her. But this is just a prime example of the things. And I've seen this. I've seen people do this in the McDonald's drive-thru line. Almost hit me in the rear end, or even driving down the road. I've seen it. So you look at that, and you think that's pretty stupid, right? But it happens. So why would we think that these negative behaviors like this don't lead to an accident? Well, most of it boils down to, oh, I see people do this all the time. Nothing happens. It's not going to happen to me. It's complacency. You get complacent. You think it's not going to happen. Oh, it's just a few seconds. It's not going to happen to me, right? Well, it all boils down to luck. Because research shows that you can only be lucky so much. And that's why we talk to you about changing behaviors. And we talk to you about texting and walking. And you see different safety messages coming out over and over and over again. Well, it's because 9 times out of 10, you're going to have to hear it several times for it to change your behavior. Or it's going to impact you or somebody that you love in a way that it really does hit home for you. So today we're going to talk about distractions. There's 3 main types. There is a visual distraction, which is taking your eyes off the task. There is a manual distraction, which is when you're physically disengaged. And then there is a cognitive distraction, which is taking your mind off the task. Well, research shows that the more of these that are present, the higher the risk. So, for instance, you're driving down the road and your cell phone rings and it's in your passenger seat, and maybe you don't have the hands-free in your car. What happens? You're driving down the road, ring, ring. You reach over, you look at your phone, you see who's calling, you pick it up. You've taken your hand off the wheel, so you've got your manual. Your visual, you looked over, maybe it was just 2 or 3 seconds. And then whatever's happening on the other end of that phone has immediately caused you to lose focus of what you're doing, okay? I don't know how many of you have ever gotten somewhere and wondered, well, I wasn't coming here. Or I meant to stop at the grocery store, and you end up in your driveway. And you think, I was on the phone, I was totally distracted, and the next thing you know, you end up somewhere that you didn't intend to be. And it happens all the time. So that just gives you an idea of the different type of distractions. And the more that are present, the higher the risk. So we can see pretty easy here from these 2 pictures which one's engaged and which one isn't engaged. This girl here only cares about what she looks like when she gets where she's going. And this one here is obviously, she's got her 2 hands on the wheel, her eyes ahead of her, and she knows where she's going and she's got a path. Here's some stats. 5 seconds is the average time that your eyes are off the road while texting. When traveling at 55 miles per hour, that's enough time to cover the length of a football field blindfolded. So would you put a blindfold on and run down a football field? Not me. A quarter of teens research has shown that a quarter of teens, that's one in every person in this room, has a teenager that responds to a text message once or more every time they drive. 20% of teens and 10% of parents admit that they have extended or multi-message text conversations while driving. So, take a look. So why are we doing this? Why are you here today? Because we care about your safety, not only in this building, but when you leave this building. Maybe you'll go home today and you'll share a story about this message with your teenager, your spouse, or someone that you care about, and you may keep them from getting into a situation that could be detrimental to their life. So we're going to watch a little short video here. Hopefully. Maybe. Where's the video? Where's the volume? Let me see here. Is it plugged in? It worked earlier, I promise it did. Okay, maybe we won't watch the video. But anyway, I'll just kind of talk to you about what the video is. In this video, they're talking it's a story done by NBC, the Today Show. This woman was in this SUV. And they played the SUV that was parked. And she was talking about how this guy was transporting disabled elderly people. This bus driver was transporting disabled people on this bus. And look at him. See? 5 minutes went on and he was looking down at his cell phone. And finally, he knows what's happening. He hits her and he knows right here he's in big, big trouble. Right. There was some verbiage there, but it was really bleeped out. But anyway, you get the point. It is a big issue. Those are the things that can happen when you're texting and driving. There was an incident in Houston that a parent was driving along a roadway that was flooded. And had their cell phone with them, was driving along, and the water was higher than they anticipated, and they were obviously not focused, were on their cell phone. There was record of conversation before the accident happened, and 5 kids got killed. So don't allow yourself to be the cause of an injury or a serious fatality. So that's about driving, but we can be distracted at work too. And we talk to you guys all the time about texting and walking, but it's not really just about texting and walking. It's about being distracted and walking. I can sit here and read this paper and walk down the hallway and be just as distracted as you are if you're texting or if you're looking at a text. So just be cautious. Know that those are distractions, and your productivity is reduced if you're distracted while you're on the job. And what I mean by this, with checking in on your home and your productivity while you're at the job, is the thing of pop-ups coming up, or you calling or texting your husband 2 or 3 times a day while you're at work. I don't know about you, but I have drama at home, and sometimes I come to work to get away from it. And I will hear something while I'm texting or while I'm calling home, and I will be totally distracted for the rest of the day. And it totally changes my mood, and I try now to just check in once a day. So why can't we use our cell phones at our desk? Well, an average person making $12 an hour looking at messages or texting for 10 minutes by 260 work days equates to the lost wages for 5 workers over a year to $2,800 if the average person makes $12 an hour. So AEP's not doing it just to be mean. They're doing it because research shows that your employees are not productive. And just as a funny fact, wake up, Jane. Did you know that the cell phone is 42 years old? I was floored. 1983 is when the first cell phone really came about. Now, obviously, we haven't had it that long, but in commercial use and things like that, it was available. I was totally surprised.
73. That'd be 73.
73, sorry, yeah, 73. Married to your cell phone, and this is just, we're gonna go through here real quick. I don't know if any of you have spouses, family members, whatever, but I'm always getting on my spouse, would you please be here now? Be here now. That can stop, that can wait. So, research shows, there's a little link down there that you can't see because of the message board, but Family Life did a investigation and found that married spouses says that their cell phone has really impacted their amount of level of communication that they have with each other. So we're just saying to replace the connectivity with conversation. Love the one you're with, and if you're plugged in 24 hours a day, that makes for a really long day. So we're distracted on our way to work, at home, at work, basically from the moments that we get out of bed. If your eyes and mind are not focused on what you are doing, you're putting yourself and your coworkers at risk. So what can we do to change this? Just some things that I've had to use over the course of my life. Use the do not disturb feature on your cell phone. Use the hands-free option on your phone when available. I had to do this to keep the temptation down. Put the purse in the back seat, or put it out of my reach to avoid the temptation. Because I think there's something that I can't miss, I'm gonna reach over. So I'm just putting it in the back seat, I can't get to it. Enact a no cell phone rule at the dinner table to encourage family interaction. Stop and read the text when walking. Pay attention to what you're doing, and I will say that, I don't know if any of you guys have noticed it, but here in the call center, I have noticed people just like stopped where they are and taking care of their cell phone or doing their, whatever they're doing. So that's a positive change. So take baby steps to foster changes in your family. Dinner and bed rules around cell phone use. Teach your family good habits, and above all else, ask yourself, is that text really worth my life? So act responsible. Thank you guys very much.